Happy New Year. Today marks the third day in our new month, 2025. So we want to say what a pleasant way to begin this program. This is the Deep National Hour program. You can follow us up on Deep National Hour, or you just go strictly to FN, that page. You'll see us there live. I'm Dr. Abraham Dassama the first. Today, as we begin our message, we will be looking at some fundamental issues that have to do with librarians in this country. We'll look at certain key issues that we cannot overlook as a country. So we say the DEEP is a civil rights nationalistic organization propagating the true sense of nationalism and the call to national duties. So the first thing we'll be looking at is DEEP is focusing on nationalism. How do we build nationalism in our country? We complain a lot about corruption. We complain a lot about government being insensitive to the plight of the people, citizens themselves abusing the country, throwing dice all in the street, looting, misusing what we refer to as government property. So people don't, are not careful on how they conduct themselves in the use of those materials. We also look at why citizens themselves are giving out their property to non-librarians, forgetting to know that such a practice is not being nationalistic, because it means that you are giving your country out rapidly then gradually. So you see today in our country, most of the strategic properties in our country is being owned by non-librarians, which is detrimental to the survivability of this country. So the government is under obligation by the Constitution, Article 18, to ensure that citizens themselves are schooled to know that national duties, that obligation, what is nationalism, why do we use the flag today? Because the absence of education when it comes to nationalism, people don't respect the flag. During those days when we're coming up, by the time it's time to put down the flag or to host the flag, you see everybody pays attention. Everybody pays attention. Today, it is just reckless. Today, you have officials of government that don't even know that anthem, the national anthem. They don't even know, they have even a clue on the preamble of our constitution. So it puts this country in a very negative connotation when it comes to nationalism. Do we have a national call as a country? Because if we don't train our citizens to know that national duties, it means that few corrupt officials will come exploit the country for year in, year out, and the citizens expect to only practice a component of their democratic rights, okay, the human rights, okay, and the freedom of speech, forgetting about the other component that talks about the responsibility that go along with that. But have the citizens understood what is nationalism and what are the national duties? What are things that you not accept anybody to do in this country, whether or not you are an official or foreigner? This country have not come to the consciousness of understanding what do we mean by being nationalistic. So the government exploits the citizen. The Constitution requires that it is the responsibility of the government to educate the citizens. Because when citizens understand what nationalism represents, why do we play the national anthem when we're about to play games? I know, what do we salute the flag? Why we cannot allow our flag to be thrown all over the place or burned? Why should we be proud as citizens and call ourselves Liberians? Those nationalistic things that we should protect, we are not trained to protect them. So your national ID cards are going out to everybody, librarians, non-librarians, they are getting it. The passport, the same way. The voter cards, the same way. It means that there is an imminent danger that has to do with existence, short threat. There's an imminent danger. This country is on a very bad road. Those of you that may even say that you're in the interior, remember, if Monrovia is gradually leaving and going to the hands of non-Liberians, it means that where the political seat is being rapidly given to non-Liberians. There will come a time that those of you in a rural area that don't have the sophistication will become puppets to the non-Liberians that will be controlling our country. Liberians have not been taught what it means by nationalism. So for that reason, you see that you have a policy, you have a law that says Liberianization. But because Liberians do not know nationalism and their national duties, so they sit and allow few individuals to get the rights that should only be given to Liberian, peculiar rights should only be given to Liberians. They sit and tolerate non-Liberians occupying them, taking them, using them. And the only thing they keep exercising is a culture that believes in talk. I will take time to go over symbolism when it comes to our flag. Our flag is one of our national identity. It means that the colors of the flag should represent who we are. But in actuality, the colors of the flag do not represent the actuality or the identity of Liberians. Every country that carries that color red, it means that the citizens are brave. Liberians are cowards. Liberians are scared. Liberians move in the street, it means they are being paid or being coerced by politicians. Liberians are not capable of deciding what affecting them and how to resolve it. The Liberian society loves to talk, and then be done with it. That is not symbolic of the color red to be used in your flag. There are 29 countries that carry red, white, and blue. The least among the 29 countries is Liberia. The top among them is America. You see how powerful America is. You see how the citizens think America. They want to be great. They want to be, they want to be on top of everything. They do not sit and tolerate somebody come and abuse them. The Liberian society permits it. The Russian, the same. Those from Great Britain, the same. You see, there are lots of different countries that carry the red, white, and blue, but these countries don't tolerate the kind of things that we do in our society. Red, white, and blue means that it is a mature country that is capable of independently handling their internal affairs. In Liberia, the country is not capable of handling its internal affairs. Things that the citizens should get up to do as their national responsibility, they'll be depending on America to come and solve it for them. on your platform every Friday at 5 p.m. and every Saturday at 9 p.m. So again, there's the Deep National Hour. There's Deep is the Democracy and Empowerment for Economic Progress. Deep is a civil rights nationalistic organization propagating the true sense of nationalism and the call to national duties. So today we're going to be looking at what we mean by nationalism. Okay, nationalism. Every country that is successful is built on national cause. Is from nationalism that the citizens draw out their preamble for the Constitution. They develop the Constitution. Is from nationalism. They write out their national anthem. There is from the national, that nationalism, they come out what called national agenda and national identities. Now, in your national identity is where you have things then like your flag, you have things like your passport, your voting cards, your citizen ID card. These are all nationalistic items. Okay? Now, the country develop a national agenda. What do you want to be? The society would think about what it wants to do, what it wants people to see it as, and develop what we call the flag, which is a national identity. So every color in the flag represents the true symbolic nature of the citizen in that country. Unfortunately, Liberia is a complete opposite. We have three major colors in our flag, on our flag, three major colors: the red, the white, and the blue. There are 29 countries that carry those three colors. 29. On top is the United States of America. Beneath the list is Liberia. It means that when you talk in terms of ranking, Liberia is at the 29 because there is no other country above. Other than that, you got gone way back down the ladder. The citizen, the way the citizens conduct themselves, and they do not reflect the colors that are on the flag. And it is the responsibility of the government by constitutional mandate, that this government educate the citizen on their national duties, their national responsibilities, that what is nationalism and what it means for you to be a citizen of a nation. In the absence of identifying the course of action of a country, everybody in that country will conduct themselves anyway, anyhow. And government cannot be held accountable to have left the national agenda of the country. And how can the society be trained to ensuring that every government that comes in play according or live according to the national agenda? But now, after 177 years of existence as Africa's oldest country, nothing in this country, which we say it should be a basic necessity of life, like electricity, nothing, water, nothing is reliable. We have not overcome anything yet, simply because we don't have a set national agenda. So the other president comes, he does what he feels like doing. The other person comes and go about doing what he or she feels like doing. It means that you have an entire society that should be educated and know that the only way you become strong, I said there'll be continuity, but you have a polarized society. Everybody comes with their own idea, step on the earlier ideas of the other person, and move on. So instead of the country being progressing, the country is always retrogressing because you're always starting from the beginning. And of recent, to even make it as a complex problem, we have one of the most two remarkable incompetent leaders, the Barker and the George Weah, who have not come and just messed the entire system up. Not even system, but the sector. Okay? So you see that there is no national agenda that this country is trying to achieve. We have not seen a leader who have come up and said, I want the citizen to think this way. I want the citizen to conduct themselves this way. I want us to have pride in what it means to be a Liberian citizen. There have not been a president who have come in to champion the cause of nationalism. Politicians exploit the ignorance and the divine nature of the society for their gains. Because if you train your citizens how to get things, how to set the agenda, how to set targets and get it achieved, they feel that there'll be too much pressure on them as government officials. So they keep them in that particular, like a desiccated state, where they don't care, reluctant, individualistic in nature, rather than when to come together as a nation to get things done. You have election being gone almost a year now. More than a year. You have the Bwaka administration have taken over almost 1 year. The Liberian society have not yet grappled up with the concept that by now they should be taking off their political garments, coming together as a nation and ensure that this government of Joseph Bwaka meets the need of the general society. They have not yet understood that, because society is poorly educated. The government feels satisfied to have a poorly defined society. A poorly defined society. So the society is injuring itself out of ignorance. How can you have a country and you say you are talking about the issue of nationalism? You have a country that the citizens are proud to sell their strategic property, assets to non-Liberians. How is that possible? Because they have not been taught. It's out of ignorance. They have not been taught. Why should non-Liberian be on the front view, express this country as a polar nationalistic environment, rather than being a nationalistic environment, a Liberianized society? They have gone so great to the extent that even the issue of Liberianization, businesses that have been set aside for Liberian participation on it, you see, non-Liberians are all involved. The society is aware, but because they have not been trained, they have not been taught, government have refused to educate them to be able to correct the wrongs in the society. So the only thing they understood or have understood is that you just sit down and make place a call on the phone and say that our basic rights have been taken. The other business should not be done by non-Liberians and it's been given to non-Liberians. The citizens are behaving out of limitation. The scripture even said that the lack of knowledge, my people perish. Okay? The lack of knowledge, they perish. So you don't expect that you have an abundance of ignorance when it comes to nationalism and you want your citizens to conduct themselves properly. That's the reason why we say this country, to be transformed, this country needs a radical, educated nationalist as a leader. Somebody that will help to define the course of action of the citizens. If you have read Social Cultural Foundation, you will understand that government ability to train a citizen comes from the school. How you want your citizen to think, how you want them to behave. No matter how many times you talk on the various media, as long as these people are not trained, they are not educated, the society will keep behaving the way it is behaving because of limitation. Bible said, train out a child in the way he or she should go. And when the person becomes older, it won't be departed. It won't depart from that particular person. You are not training your citizens to be nationalistic. You are not training them to know their national responsibility and national duty. You are not training and giving them national agenda. How do you expect them to perform a miraculous power to conduct themselves in such context when they have not been trained in such context? So they have many ways to define politics in Liberia. Some people define it as a money-making game. Some people define it as putting your brothers and friends into power so you can get some connection. People see it as a way of exploitation. People see it as a political based association. People see it in different contexts because the society have refused to educate its citizens on what it means to be a citizen. So a non-librarian, because he want more money, he prefer to give his apartment to non-librarian. A librarian will prefer, because he or she wants more money, will prefer to deny a librarian property and give his property or property to non-librarian, because if the house rent, it should be $25, and a librarian comes and say, I'll give $30, $35. That landlord will give almost all the librarian notice to leave that place. And you see that entire house will be filled up with non-librarians. Do you want to blame that particular person? Well, to some extent, yes. But what have the country done to train a citizen why you should not sell all your property to non-librarians? Almost all the lands up there, Cover Hill, Johnsonville, almost all areas, they are selling it in mass to non-librarians. It means that you are selling your country and heritage or national assets to non-librarians. It means that you are putting your country in a position that tomorrow you may have those who have the financial capacity will be librarians and will control this country. So all the things we say about librarians, they don't know how to conduct themselves, they are foolish, and this and that, those are all symptoms of lack of nationalism. If this country has a strong agenda first, a national agenda, we don't have national agenda. But if this country has a national agenda, a strong national agenda, you think the citizens will have elected the past and current president? They wouldn't. They wouldn't have elected George Weah. George Weah is a fine species for another purpose, not the presidency. Waka also is a fine person for council advice, but not the presidency. The very first thing, if you have a strong ambition and somebody tell you that all through all my days I work and I end up in poverty, you have strong ambition to be successful. You're not even to that particular person. You run away from a particular person. Those of you who love football, will you see Chelsea or Messi or how can I say Chelsea, Barca, Madrid? Do you see them just take anybody to be coach for the thing? They look for high class individuals, people who have strong CVs, strong success record. Okay? Because they know what they want. And their employment is based on performance based. They know what they want. You attribute that same thing to how you go about electing your leaders. You don't even care whether the president has any physiological problem. You don't care whether there's any connected problem. You don't care. You don't. You don't even think about those kind of things. You don't even call your leader to vote, or those who want to lead you. You don't even bring them to debate so you can be able to listen to them and see whether they have what it takes to be a good leader. You don't even do it. They will keep behaving like that until you have a strong, radical, educated nationalists that will come and make people to think the way they should think. If you go to Ghana, you go in a school, you will learn the culture, you will learn the morals and values of the Ghanaian society. You will learn where the Ghanaian society wants to go. The same way in Nigeria. I don't want to go to America and Europe, because when you go there, you will understand the American dream. Who is reading about the librarian dream? Do we even have a dream? So people sit down and make all kinds of statements about the country. The country is finished. the country is doomed and the country is worthless. It's good for us to divide the country and share the money. Those are all statements out of ignorance. And no matter how you frown at those things, they will keep happening. They will even evolve. They will come in different factions simply because until their minds are refined, they will not know what to do or what is required of them. You think if you have built that spirit of nationalism in your citizen, you think your citizen will be brave enough to take voting cards that should only be for librarians and give it to non-librarians? You think they'll be able to do that? You think your citizen will be brave to give passport that should only be for librarians? Did they give it out for 10 hours and 15 hours? You think they would do that? You think they'll be brave to send 20 acres, 10 acres according to non-librarians? You think they'll be able to do that? No. You think they'll be able to front for non-librarians? I think let's say that the business for them, librarians, not doing the business for foreigners, they won't do it. But when they are not trained, they see it as a smart move to make money, not knowing they are undermining the integrity of this country. Until you get a nationalist as a leader that will help make the citizens think as citizens, know their nationalistic responsibilities, develop a national agenda, this country is going nowhere. You see, sometimes people criticize the religious group and other things. Whether they are religious group or professional groups or whatever groups they are, as long as the mind have not been defined in the nationalistic context, you will not expect to see that strong nationalistic spirit, the love for the country coming out of them. They'll only say it for political or just to being sentimental, get people to be feeling good and whatever, but it won't work. Because the citizens themselves don't know their national duty on how to get it to work. You have not given the post set agenda. How can they fight for the agenda? Again, there's the Deep National Hour program, the Democracy Empowerment for Economic Progress. You can join us up on our platform every Friday by 5 p.m. and every Saturday by 9 p.m. We'll be on this platform. And those of you who are interested working with us, we'll highly appreciate it. And we will provide you our numbers so that you can be able to follow us up and give us some of your pieces of expertise that we all can be able to use as a nation. Okay, so our office number is not the station number. Our office number is 0777-2842-55. That is 0777-2842-55. 284255. Okay, that is our office number, and then we will also love for you to interface with us as we go through our discussion. We'll give you an opportunity to call in and hear from you. Okay, so we are saying if this country must change, you must be able to train your citizens. If I should talk about the philosophy of education, you will get to understand that from the age of 3 to 16, students are taught their national role. Students are taught government. Students are taught how to conduct themselves. There where you have a lot of different foundations in the philosophical foundations of education. Okay, you'll be hearing about pragmatism, you'll be hearing about realism, idealism, naturalism. You'll hear about the different lessons in your education, because every country will define whether they are pragmatics or they are realists or idealists, or they support the natural science of naturalism. There are lots of different schools of thought. But all the time I have been in this country, I have not even understood or have even seen what school of thought this country has. We are not existing as a country. No wonder why you can find no university in this country named among the top 400 universities in Africa, regardless of producing the fourth, fifth, and sixth oldest university in Africa. Your education system is terrible poor, very lazy. Because but now we should be able to come up with a defined course of action, define our own philosophy, define our nationalistic goal, our nationalistic agenda. But even those that listen who have the master and whatsoever thing or doctoral degrees, and you ask them right now, what foundation is Liberia based on? And that answer should come from a legalistic background, meaning that we have it in our laws that say that we are pragmatics, we are realists, we are liberalists, and the liberalism. What kind of practice do we? Are we actually, because that will also help to define our diplomatic relation out there with other countries. Because diplomacy is also based on the ideological concept or position of a country. So where are we as a nation? Where are we? You have not defined your politics in context. You have not defined your education in context. You have not defined your diplomatic activities in context. You have not defined the country. That when somebody comes to the country and wants to read, you talk about all the universities in this country. We have not yet written even about ourselves something that the government can use as a position of knowing Liberians. Maybe you can call it the sociology of Liberia, or maybe the philosophy of Liberianization. Maybe something you can call it up. When will we ever study ourselves to know that we are not going further? We just want to talk, empty talk, can't do anything, cannot transform our society. You must be able to study yourself. Socrates said, know that self. Continue to study yourself. Why are we conducting ourselves the way we are? Why? Have we asked those questions and tried to go after the answer? Have we conducted research on ourselves? Why our official government are so badly performing, miserably failing every time? Why does society vote or elect leaders the way they conduct themselves? We don't have it. We don't have electoral studies. We don't have studies on our students. We don't have studies on even though they're doing political science and not reading about Liberia, because you get books on Liberia. They are doing public administration. I'm not reading on Liberia public administration. You get books. Every sector you're doing, you don't writing books. When will the government put a research department, put money there, so that other people can evolve all social activities and just only focus on research? Developing various kinds of matrices to be able to define the course of actions when it comes to how Liberians conduct themselves and why they conduct themselves in a fine way that can improve this country. If you don't study yourself, you can't do anything, because you don't know yourself. Even when he said that your inability to define yourself, makes you not worthy to be alive. An unexamined life is not worthy of living. And as a society, we're not examining ourselves. So in Darwin's philosophy, it means that we don't worth, we are not worth living as a country. So what do you expect? You mean that you invoke the principle of the law of attraction. Ignorance will always give birth to ignorance. This country is going bad because the leaders are refusing to define how the citizens should conduct themselves. in contravention of the law. This country really needs a radical nationalist as a leader, educated. Because when you start building nationalism into the students, you start building nationalism from a robust program from grade school all the way to college. You will see that in a period of 10 years, the way Liberians think and conduct themselves will rapidly start to change. You will see a unique form of behavior will come. But people are rude because the fee is found to them. Nobody telling them in a more fraction form that the actions are wrong. Okay? Everybody can talk on a platform. But when this country becomes a defined country, you will know that before you can even discuss certain issue, we'll be looking at whether you have the credibility, whether you have the pathos, whether you have the ethos, whether you have the logos. But you don't necessarily need it here. Anybody can talk. How many of us that try to educate the society have articles or journals or books? How many of us that academicians can test and try to see whether it can fit is reality, is sociologically balanced or psychologically balanced, or social, political, or social, economic, or social and psychology, something. We don't. We are not studying ourselves. We're just talking and talking and talking. Until we know ourselves, we can do anything as a nation. And I want to call on every person. It is important that we define and study ourselves. Then it puts us in the position to know who we are. Not somebody will write history and they tell us this other group of tribe or group of people, tribal group came from this other area. What was the behavior? Have we ever produced anthropologists? People are getting degree in sociology. What have they written? What have they read? What have they researched about our society? So you want to say up to now with all the degree coming in sociology, that's the reason you see the misplacement in our academic selection is terrible. You get a school, the university giving sociology as bachelor degree, and you're not seeing in the master degree program they introduce a discipline in the master degree that you'll find in the bachelor degree. Everything just scattered in this country. We will keep on this particular platform, keep providing you with that's the Deep National Hour Facebook page. You can follow us up on this, and then we'll be happy that we can interface. We don't know where. I'm unfortunate that Corinne had to cause some disturbance in our particular system, because the same thing we're talking about. You have a country that there's nothing, your basic necessity is not even reliable. But by the time you get fired on our capital building, they put almost $2 million there. Everything about the budget is just all about them, not about you and myself. No. You want to say up to now, people still fighting. We're talking about electricity, water, and hospitals, and nurses and doctors are still fighting for salary. All of that. Nothing straight in this country. This country needs a nationalist, a strong, radical, educated nationalist as a leader. You need to stand up, but you cannot stand up out of ignorance. You should be able to stand up from a very informed basic. So our office number is 0777 284 255 0777 28 42 55. Okay. We should be taking call. I don't know whether he can permit us to take 5 calls. Okay, we have got the green light to take 5 calls, so we will accept 5 calls, and then the numbers will be read so we can have your participation in this process. Okay, this country must change, but the change of this country will come from the mind. Okay, it will come from the mind. So To hear you, to place your call, you can dial 0777 to participate on this particular program, the station number is 20777 285 961 077785961. So you can please in your call and then okay. Hello?
Hello, brother. How yourself, sir?
Yes, sir. Your name and where you calling from?
Okay, my name is Tony Molba. I'm calling from Agatha.
Okay, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, boss man, thank you for the exposure. For you talking all these fun things that you talking about is fun for us. For the problem now is for you not in power. So you will just come and see people will just because play a role whatever or you will use on the government power for you to talk this thing and for you to go on. But we fight for all. But you talking all these things fight for all or to be hard. So I'm concerned there. It will be hard.
Okay.
It's fine for all.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, 0777 285 961. 0777 285 961. I would highly appreciate were you on the next platform for you to invite others to tune in on 96.1. You can tune in and then high in and let us all work together. Okay. So we'll be on this platform every Friday by 5 o'clock and every Saturday by 9 a.m. Hello. Can you walk away from your recording? Okay, so I think we will before okay, so let us leave it here where it is. Thank you very much. I see Costa coming in, but let us make it our duty to tune in every 5 o'clock, every Friday, 5 o'clock, and every Saturday, 9 a.m. God bless you until we meet again. I'm Dr. Abraham Dassama Sellu first. I'm Dr. Sellu. I'm the Executive Director of the Democratic Empowerment for Economic Progress. DEEP. DEEP is a civil rights nationalistic organization propagating the true sense of nationalism. I'll see you by God's grace the next time on Friday, 5 o'clock, and Saturday, 9 o'clock. God bless you again. I'm Dr. Abraham Dassama. See you the first. God bless you.